So welcome back YouTube. Today we're doing legs. It is my squat session. Obviously the prior video you saw my other leg day, which was the RDL session. This session is still kind of, you'll see it throughout, but it's still very built towards bringing up my glutes and hamstrings, with the addition of obviously having a squat in where I do get good knee flexion, but we know that we still use our glutes and adductors when we do that. But everything else is pretty much tailored towards glutes and hammies. So yes, with a sprinkling of quads. That is where we are. I am currently week 18 into my off-season post. The last show was the Arnold Classics 2022, where I came 5th. Very good achievement for me. But obviously the next goal for me is to step on the Olympia stage. So in order to do that, I'm taking a little bit of time away from the stage, to the point where I'm going to start prep at the end of this year. Rather than during this year, I'm going to start prep at the end of this year to hopefully qualify and compete the first part of 2024. So I'm just week 8 into my push phase. Take from that what you will, and then we will run a nice 16 weeks still pushing, but obviously without the additional extras. So yeah, very much looking forward to going through my session. I'll break things down as we go, speak a little bit more about what's going on at the moment, and hopefully you all enjoy it. Yeah, lovely, thank you. So first exercise is the adductors. Adductors are a really great thing to have, especially if you want overall density in your legs. A big VMO gives the, especially front shot, back shots. If you've got a really big VMO, really big adductor, the amount of density it looks like you have in your legs is ridiculous. Obviously for a class like mine, where you do want to have quite a strong lower body, is a really great kind of part to have, which is a part that very much has lacked on me before. Definitely much better now, but this is why we start with these, because I need more of it. So a nice emphasis on it. It actually gets you really warmed up ahead of doing a lying ham curl before then me moving into my squats. So it's a really nice way for me to get nice and stable and feel ready to do something like my squat, which obviously takes a lot of pressure into my knees, especially mine because they're pretty shit.
Don't kick, I've got you. Don't kick, I've got you. Come on, drag. That's better, that's better. Walk before you set.
What a bastard. So, exercise number 2 is lying hammy curl. The first 2 sets, we do that with the resistance profile of mid to lengthened, the second being in the lengthened. Here, what I'm trying to do is focus on allowing for a full stretch with my hamstring, but not allowing the hamstring to stop with tension, especially at the bottom. So trying to really create a push into the pad with your quads, but not tensing your quads, allows you to create lots of tension still into your hamstring. When you drive the heels over, you need to think about dragging over. If you swing them and let your hips swing up at the same time, you'll start to use a lot of hip flexor rather than actual hammy. The idea here is to take all of the tension into your hamstring, so you have to stay locked into it. You don't need to go ridiculously heavy. You can just go as heavy as what you can, but an isolation movement isn't there to throw everything around like a compound movement. You kind of want to make sure that you're isolating just that muscle. Obviously there'll be little muscles around it that do fire, but for the most part, you just want to be working that specific area. You're not a very, confident squatter like me. So this off season is probably the only time that I've ever learned how to squat properly, with the help of Baxter and also Kuba, obviously. So I use little things on the floor. I'd mark it when I do my warm up and then I put little things on the floor where my feet need to go each time, so I don't have to think about it. I mean, that might be pretty pathetic, but I'm not very confident when I squat, so I'd rather not think about something like that. So I'll mark it out. If that helps you, use it. But that's not stopping, is it? Squat through the fire alarm. One thing that might be holding you back when you're trying to make progress with strength in the gym is how you warm up. So you don't want to take too long, but you also don't want to rush into it. I've got clients or people that I know that literally will do one little thing, one little warm up on like a 10 kg dumbbell and then try to go in with 30s. Your body's not ready for it. Give it at least another 2 and then you'll be ready to go. So for me, obviously we're trying to work up to 3 plates and perhaps a little bit beyond today. I'll do a couple of reps on none at all just to get where my feet need to be. Then I'll do it with 1 plate, 2 plates, 2.5 plates, and then see how I feel if I'm ready to go for that working set after that. But take your time and don't rush into it because it's so important that you get that set feeling really good. Don't take the piss warming up too quickly, but just do enough so that your body's ready for it and your mind. I don't know what weight to go for.
What did you best at?
3.
3 for how many?
I did that higher up set of 12.
2.5. Well, 2.5. Go! Stay tight. Come on, mate. Excellent. Yes! Come on now. There we go, come on. More reps, come on. Make them easy, make them easy. Yes! 1 more rep at least, make it light. Get tight, get super fucking tight now. Come on now. Arm brace. Arm brace. I'm right, yes, yes. 1 more rep. That was easy. Come on. Control that fucking tempo. Come on now. Like a sprint, come on. Cock up and drive. Easy, man. Yes. 1 more rep then, come on. Let's fucking go. I've got you, come on, let's go. 1 fucking set, come on. Yes, 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 yes. Leave it there.
exercise was the squat. I didn't talk too much because I get a bit nervous, so I'll talk a little bit more now. So on that one, I used to not get very good depth. So I've added something prior to our session, a mobility movement. Because we used to do way too much mobility, we used to go into the session feeling a little bit fatigued, whereas we don't do as much anymore. So literally it is just a squat with a heel wedge, holding a dumbbell out in front and just getting that squat pattern going fully before obviously going into my session. It's something that Baxter did with me when we went through some training bits, and it's really helped with getting me feeling comfortable with squatting. Aaron may have got a video of that, he may not have, but at some point he probably has done, so we might be able to just pop that in somewhere so that you can see it. But that's literally what I do prior to my session, and I feel good going into my squat. So literally focusing on making sure I get full range of motion, because I used to finish halfway, and even the last couple of sessions my depth hasn't been there because my knees have been a little bit niggly, whereas they feel okay today. So I felt like depth was really going to be able to go there. So pushing past that last little point at the bottom, making sure that we've got a tiny little pause at the bottom before firing back up, just to change that controlling direction. So that's really important, making sure that you have some solid end ranges, especially when you want to train well and when you want to obviously bias what you're supposed to be rather than going, momentum. Might work for some, but it doesn't work for me. Onto leg press, we'll speak about that in a minute. If you don't, or you can't get full range of motion on a machine, a leg press, get yourself a little pad to be able to get good range of motion without pretending that it's because of the machine and not the fact that you're not getting range of motion. I hate this fucking machine. I need to go a little bit lighter this session because I did it last session. I worked on all the weights and I did not do a good set. My range of motion was horrendous and they were very quick. We need to be like a little snail on the way down, nice and slow and slithery. Fingers crossed this stays on. The leg press. This is my fourth movement. I think I only got one set on here, obviously because I've got one set on the squat as well. So here I'm trying to focus on keeping my core locked super tight. It may mean that my shoulders come forwards a little bit off the bench, which is fine. The aim is to get my knees as deep as I can safely go. Some people can go super far, they've got amazing ankle mobility. But for me, that was really good depth. So I'm really happy with that. Managed to take a rep progression. So fantastic, fantastic. size 5, I think single leg RDLs. I was doing these dual leg, but because the dumbbells get so big as they progress in weight, not that I was going ridiculously heavy, but because I'm still, even if you don't think that I'm still small, like I'm a very petite human, so holding the big dumbbells just wasn't working. So if you use a single leg, to be honest, it feels much better in my glutes, which is obviously an area that I need to target a lot. So I'm quite glad that we've changed to it. So here, what I'm thinking about is keeping my feet the same distance apart as I would on a normal one, so that would be hip width. I just make sure that all of my weight is into my working side leg, not onto the other one that's kind of just standing there for a little bit of stability. I turn my hips slightly towards my working leg to help create a little bit more stretch through the glute. Focus on keeping my shoulder blades back, chest tall, core nice and tight, and the only thing moving is my hips driving back and forth. No change in my knee angle, so no bending at the knee. There will be a tiny little bend of the knee, but the angle will not change the whole time that I do my set, to make sure that the only thing that's happening is hip extension and then driving back to create all the tension to be on my glutes. to be around your leg to make sure that you don't bang into it, to make sure that all of the weight kind of stays on that leg, just because it's over it. You'll see what I mean in a minute when I just do it, and it makes the movement feel so much freer because you're not banging and clanging the weights around. The contralateral loaded split squat. So obviously we're holding the opposite dumbbell. The opposite. Oh god, gonna start again. The contralateral loaded split squat. So to bias the glute, we are holding a dumbbell in the opposite side hand to the leg that is working. So if I'm working my left leg, I hold it in my right hand. We need to make sure that we keep our chest over our hips, core locked super tight. When we come down, the movement needs to be back and down so that we get zero knee flexion, so that the shin stays nice and vertical to the ground, to make sure that we can really bias the glute. Like we spoke about on the dumbbell RDL, with a slight turn of the hips to create even more hip extension and stretch through the glute, we get the same with that. You need to make sure that that dumbbell never touches your leg. If it touches your leg, you'll lose tension entirely. This is a great movement for your glutes. Bloody Nora. Fucked. proper full. Worked our quads a lot in the length and range on the squat and on the leg press. So now gonna bias more when it's in the short right at the top. So that's what we've got the resistance profile getting, so that it's the middle and end range rather than it being right when it's at the bottom where it's stretched, because we've already done that already. If you don't have a machine that allows for that, the way in which you bias it is through creating the movement to be harder at that point. So adding something like a 2 or 3 second hold at the top would be really good to be able to bias that. No. Bastard quads. On to my last exercise, which is an upper back bias pull down. Doing a little bit of back top up because obviously still need a little bit more back. And recovery, with my recovery capabilities, I can get away with it. So we're doing this on the prime, pin loaded, biasing again, mid to lengthened, and then lengthened range in the last set, just watching Cuba, sorry. And yeah, hitting up with the upper back pull down. Obviously, chest nice and tall, get to work with your shoulders, full protraction, full retraction.
strong. Come on, mate. Sick. Ribcage towards me as you stretch. Inhale, inhale, and drag. That's it. Ribcage towards me. Excellent. Yes, 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 yes. Good. Yes, mate. Excellent. Come on, mate. Come on, I've got you.
Got such tingly fingers when I... Okay, YouTube, that is the end of my session. Hope that you've enjoyed it. Hope that you find some useful tips that come from it. I'm aiming to do at least 1 or 2 a month on my channel, plus putting them on, obviously, the normal channel. But I feel like it's good to put it on a few different platforms just to obviously get some more stuff out there for female bodybuilding, because obviously there's not a lot that do it, and if I can share my journey, at least it might help a couple of people. So that is the end. Hopefully we're going to get massive off the back of that. But yeah, feel good, feel happy with where I'm at in off season. Got another 7 weeks. Then we go into a little bit of a maintenance phase. We have a little bit of a holiday, and then we come back, we go into a nice little diet phase before getting to work again in our nice push phase. So be able to trim a little bit of weight off, perhaps look a little bit better facially, because off season's not kind to your face. So yeah, hopefully look a little bit prettier in the cut phase, but people that do bodybuilding will understand that. Other people that don't are just ignorant. Anyway, I'm gonna have my first workout, maybe in like 2 hours, feel like I'm gonna bomb, but it is what it is. Feel good. Thanks guys.